What's up guys, it's been some time. So in this video I'm going to show you how to set up an outbound call using Vapi. And the reason why I want to do this is because if you go to a docs and basically look at how Vapi tells you to do it, it won't work. I've tried it, I've wrapped my head around it, and if you just go to this video in Vapi documentation, this is basically outdated, and I'll be showing you a way around it, of course. And I will be using n8n, and this is going to be a short one, so let's hop right in. So what you want to do is you want to build an outbound voice AI agent that basically collects debts. No, not really collect debts. Let me just show you my prompt. I guess that will be an easier way to explain it. Yeah, it will be an outbound voice agent for debt recovery calls, and you can imagine what this is. Just hits up people in your CRM and tells them to, or reminds them that they have some debt, active debt, and requests them to pay. And by this is how I get my prompts. So this is just okay, this is not how I do it. It's usually longer than this. I'm just pulling this up so they can show you how I create prompts for my AI agents. Just use system prompt generator. It's an extension of a ChatGPT, and it's really good, especially if you are specific with it. It's basically like your AI prompt engineer. So I'm just going to copy this and build it up with you. So if I go to Vapi, just go back, create an assistant, blank template, create assistant. So, oh, I didn't leave this here. I wonder what this is. Describe how you like to edit the prompt. But this little stuff wasn't there the last time I used Vapi, so I'll have to check it out later. So I'm just going to copy my prompt here and just skim through it very fast. A professional and highly effective debt recovery AI agent working for a debt recovery company. So I can edit this to Roy's, no, there. I just thought of that name. It's the first thing that came to my head. But let's go on. Maintain a calm and professional, polite note all times. Ensure compliance with all legal and regulatory experiences. I am going to need to add some knowledge base so that it can refer to this. So for this specific example, I'm going to remove that part because I do not know what FDCPA in the US or basically what that means. Avoid aggressive language. Good. Adapt to customers' responses using contextual understanding. Escalate non-compliant responses. Yeah, that's great. Introduction. Establish identity and purpose. Hello, is this data's name? So I can have this in curly brackets because I'll use it as a dynamic variable later in the video. So that's okay. If yes, continue. If no, and also on this, I need to add a welcome message. So the first message is, hey, do you have 5 minutes to speak right now? I think I'll need a better first message, but something will come up much later, and I'll think about something more creative. So for the model, I'll use GPT-4 mini because it's the fastest, and GPT 4.5 recently came out, but it's really expensive. Let me just see how much it is. Actually, it's not that bad, but I'm still gonna use a 4 mini because I want this tutorial to lag, and for that reason I use GPT-4 mini. As you can see, it's gone down to, wow, this is really good. 500 milliseconds basically. I think they made an improvement because it wasn't this fast. Vapi probably updated it. So what I usually do is I play around with the prompt after I've tested it. So I just leave it the way it is, and I'll play with it, come and debug it much later. So I'll just publish this. That's weird. I just click on transcriber and everything changed, but it's okay. Deep grammar English. I prefer Nova to phone call. Yeah, that's all good. Publish. For the voice, 11 labs. Sarah. Just go with a sweeter voice. It should be Mary. If 11 flash feature is okay, and that's basically it. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, and just publish this. Now that's all good. Our voice agent is set up. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to n8n and set up the back end of it. So for I'm just going to start with trigger manually. Then next, the way I want this to work is I need it to look into a database. For example, I'm going to use Airtable and basically check if someone was called. If they were called, then it's not going to call them. If they were called, it's going to call them and ask them, yo, what's up? Why you ain't paying your debts or something like that, right? So I'm just going to connect an Airtable node. Airtable. And it's going to be a search a record. The reason it's search a record because we will already have a record in place. I will be creating this right now, but the idea is we'll already have a record in place, and what this node does is it just searches Airtable for that record and checks if they have been called before. So before I set all this up, I'm going to go to Airtable, and before I go to Airtable, you will need to authenticate Airtable with n8n. I have made a video just for this previously. I'm going to attach it somewhere up there, and you can also check it out. So when you go to Airtable, I've created a table called a debt collection. What's this? Forget about this. Yeah, so I've created a table called a debt collection, and I'm just going to create the fields. So I want this to be phone number. Alright, then find a field type, phone number. That's okay. Create field. So a name can be, let's say, Roy, and my phone number. I'm going to put that later. And what I want here is I will need a way to I need a way for n8n to identify if the number has been called. So it will be a status field, and what I mean is this status. Yeah, so by status I mean single select, sorry, and I just write it here, status. And the options will be called, and I'll just give it a green color. By the way, with Airtable Premium you'll have much more colors, but I don't have Airtable Premium, so I'll just use that and add another option, uncalled, not called, which is the more grammatically correct, it doesn't matter. Uncalled, and this should be maybe red. That will be okay. And we're going to add a default option. So default option should be uncalled. Create field. So supposed to be uncalled. We can add something else. What do you expect when I'm being called by someone who wants to collect debts? That guy is gonna take notes. I might refuse. Yeah, so I'm just gonna write notes. It will be a long text. Create field. So what this will be is basically a summarized version of the transcript of basically our conversation. And I can add something else here, like did he agree to pay, did he not agree to pay, but I'll add that later. What I'm going to do here is phone number, so plus 2547. Awesome. I will add the other things when I troubleshoot my voice AI agent. So once that's done, I'm just gonna save it. I think it's already saved. So we're going back to Airtable, and source record operation is search a record. Yeah, it's going to be search a record, so that's okay. This will appear when you've already connected your credential with Airtable. So mine is Outbound AI caller, and the reason why it's Outbound AI caller is because if we look at my Airtable, this is basically the base. From the list, it's going to be debt collection, because as you can see, I have a phone number database here, but I'm not going to be using that. And filter formula. So what this means is, let me just see this. So this is the formula that will be evaluated for each record, and if the result is not 0/false, roll this, the record will be included in the response. So this is basically a query language, Airtable's query language, and it's not that complicated, but for now you can just copy what I write. So we are going to open up with this. It's supposed to be an expression. Is it really? I'm just going to leave it at fixed, because at expression is when we are referring it with something from the previous node, and we are not doing that right now. It's fixed. Yeah, I'm certain it's fixed. So what you're going to do in here is once you open this brackets, you're going to put curly braces and then close them, and in those curly braces I'm gonna write status. Now this status is case sensitive, yeah, it's capital, then is equals to, then this. So what you're going to put in here is if the records if empty, all the records will be returned. So we don't want all the records to be returned. We only want the records that are uncalled to be returned. So just to confirm, uncalled. Yeah, I think this is all good. And if we test this, it should bring some data back. So I'm just going to go ahead and test it. Request is invalid or could not process by the service. So from Airtable, invalid filter by formula. The formula for filtering records is invalid. So this error means we got our formula wrong, and I know where I got it wrong. That this should be here. I think this should fix it. Awesome. So it got some data, it got my name, and it got my name because the status is called, and that's my phone number. So we can go ahead to the next step, and the next step is actually going to be Vapi. And since n8n doesn't have a Vapi node as of now, you're going to call it using a HTTP request. Once you open this node, you're going to use Vapi's documentation. So I have this open here, and what you're basically going to do is, let me just get this far end. Or I'm actually going to remove myself from this screen because, let me see, how can I do that? I want you to see the whole screen. So on the left side of this documentation, by the way, how I got this is I just went here and go to docs. It will bring you somewhere here, and just go to API reference, and sorry about that, it will get you here. So what you want to do right now is we want to create a call basically. So it's going to be a post request. And by the way, you're going to be spending a lot of time in this documentation, and not just in Vapi, but whenever you're dealing with the HTTP request, you're going to have to learn how to read documentations, but don't get scared. It's not that hard. I'm just going to show you with this example. So for us to create a call, you can see that it's a post request, and there is this URL highlighted here. So what a HTTP request needs is basically, let me just go back to this. Yeah, so it needs a URL, it needs a method, which is usually get and post. I've never used the rest of this. I've used put once, but it will only be using get and post, to be honest. Authentication, I'm going to leave it at none because we can predefine this much later down here. And where we predefine the headers, because the header is necessary, is right down here. So here we're going to get the authentication, and here you're going to get the bearer, and we are going to add another parameter, which is the application type. So let's just do it right now. So for the first thing, you're going to copy this URL, and you're going to paste it here. I'm going to change this post request. Then send query parameters, you're going to leave that. Send headers, you're going to define it below. So here, this is what is needed in the header space. So I'm just going to copy this authorization and paste it as it is. It's also case sensitive, so just have it pasted the way it is. For the value, it's going to be bearer token. And I'm going to paste it here. And then this token bit is going to be replaced by the API token of your Vapi account. So I'm just going to go back to Vapi, and right here on the bottom left, I'm going to go to API keys, and I am going to copy my API key. This will be used as a token. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. And if you're wondering how do I know where to put what where, for the header, this H, I assume it stands for, it represents header, and what the header usually takes is authorization and the content type. So for the content type, you're just going to copy this, and we are going to add a new header parameter and just put it here. So content type, and the value will be application JSON. And yeah, that's basically it. And we are also going to add this, but at the moment I'm going to get back to that later because I have something to explain there too. And let's get back to our Vapi documentation. So once you've got that done, you just need to go, this button right here, try it. Just click on it. So you should see something like this. I've been on a short coffee break. Something might seem different with my tabs, but it's all good. And right here, you can see enter your bearer token. This is actually your API key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste mine. I believe it's this. And once that happens, you can see that it just reflected it here. I hope you didn't see it. If you did, don't copy it and use my credits. I'm going to change it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And the next thing you're going to do is right here on body parameters. I'm going to click on this small plus. So I'm just going to click on this small plus sign here to set the required parameters. And what you can see on the screen is the name and it has a description. This is the name of the call. This is just for your own reference. Assistant ID, assistant, and what we will need is the name. So I'm just going to add that. And we are also going to need our assistant ID. This is the assistant that will be used for the call. To use a transient assistant, use assistant instead. So we're going to use this. And let me just add it first. And how you get your assistant ID is basically going back to your Vapi dashboard. So if you go to your assistant, this thing here is your assistant ID, and this is your assistant demo. But for now, we're using this. Just gonna copy it and go back to my Vapi documentation and paste it here. And what we also need is the phone number. This phone number is what we're going to use for the outbound call. So I think this is it. This is the phone number that will be used for the call. Choose a transmitter using a phone number instead. Only relevant for outbound phone calls and inbound phone calls type. So we are going to use this. And where we get our phone number ID is just going to go back to Vapi. On the left side, you're going to go to phone number. And you're going to have to buy a phone number. You can buy one from Vapi. I don't recommend this, but you can try, especially if you are outside of the US. This is most likely not going to work for calls outside the US. I highly suggest that you import from Twilio or Vonage. I imported mine from Twilio. I set this up. There's a lot of videos in the internet on how to do this, but I'm not going to show you that in this video. So once you've imported your phone number from you've purchased your phone number from Twilio or wherever you purchased it from, you're just going to change one little setting here, and it's going to be this. So this is the assistant assigned to the phone number, and I remember we didn't give our assistant a name, but it is this. And you can also notice that it's on inbound, and it will also be on outbound. So I'm just going to type it here. plus 162.0.508.8568, and I'm going to select the Outbound assistant as my new assistant. Yeah, and I think that's it. Outbound current queue successfully. And how to get the ID is basically this. Just copy this, maybe if it's copied, and go back to your Vapi documentation, and you're going to paste it here. Yep. Let me see if there's anything else we're going to need. So the other thing we should have here is basically an option to input the customer's phone number, because the customer's phone number is not going to be the same for each situation, right? So let me just go to customer and see what they've got. What just happened? Yeah, so customer, and if you go to this small question mark, the customer, this is the customer that will be called. Nice, this is what you want. To call an existing customer, use customer ID instead. We do not have an existing customer defined. We will have a lot of customers that need to be called. So I'm just going to go to this small plus sign, and these are the parameters that pop up. Number E1 blah blah blah, check enabled. So what's this? This is the flag to toggle blah blah blah. This if check. This is an advanced property which should be used if you know your use case requires it. I'm just going to keep this at false. Where is it? I'm just going to have it as false because I don't know what it is. And number, this is what we want. This is the number of the customer. Yeah, perfect. What else do we need? Let me just check anything else that I can add. So extension, this is the extension that will be dealt after the call is answered. Don't really need that. This is the SIP URL of the customer. No, this is for some complex use cases. I will get to that in some future video. Name, this is the name of the customer. This is just for your own reference. I think this is the name that we need and not exactly this. So the reason why I say that, because this is included in this curly bracket, and this curly bracket represents the customer details. So I'm going to remove this and add this as the name. Perfect. And I'm just going to go up and remove this. Good. So perfect. Right here we'll have left this blank as the number of the customer and the name of the customer. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm not going to add anything else because everything else is set up in the assistant ID. So just copy that, and I'm going to go back to n8n and go to import cal and paste the cal command here. What this basically helps us, the cal command, is it should assign, not assign is not really the best word to use. It will give us a JSON body structure that we can have once we get data from a previous node. So what we will do is we'll just take data from the previous node and input it there. Let me just show you live. I think I am over explaining things. It's probably the coffee I had. And import. So yep, it worked. This was initially not there, and if you just expand this, as you can see, here is where we can get to put our customer number and the customer name that we get from our previous node. So execute previous node just to get all the data. Error, that's weird. Airtable. Let me go. Is it because I have it closed? Why am I misspelling Airtable? It's supposed to be debt collection. Yeah, everything is set up. It should work well. Let me just check out this error. A request invalid or cannot be processed by the service from Airtable. Invalid filter formula. The formula for filtering records is invalid. I thought I corrected this. That's weird. Test step. That's really weird. But it should work right now. So I'm going to test this step. You don't even really need to test it, you just need to input our data here. So what you're going to do is, this is the name, I'm just going to place it here. Why does it do that? It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to just get my name in between these quotation marks. Yeah, that's good. Then phone number, I'm just going to put it white here. Awesome. So I'm going to test this step, and I should receive a phone call. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm just going to turn on my screen so that you can see me. It's really dark. So I'm going to retest this step again while showing my face so that you can all see my phone ringing and me talking to the agent. It's getting dark and my small bro is from school, and I just can't get him out of here. So we're going to do it with him. So testing step. I'm going to answer it. You can remove this message at any time by upgrading to a full account. That's because I'm using a free trial on Twilio. Hey, this is Maya from Debt Collectors Prime. Do you have 5 minutes to speak right now? Yes, please. Thank you for your time. Call is regarding an outstanding balance on your account. To ensure compliance and security, this call may be recorded. Would you like to proceed? Yes. You can continue. Great, I appreciate your cooperation. I'd like to go over the details of your outstanding balance. So I'm just going to cut the video short because my bro is really making a mess right here. Please go away. So I got some data back, and that's basically how to do an outbound call in Vapi. Sorry about my little bro. I will be fast next time so that he doesn't cut me around. And I will see you on the next one, guys. So say bye. Say bye.